Okay, people, pause everything you think you know. Konohamaru Sarutobi, yes, that Konohamaru might have just used the most dangerous jutsu in all of the Naruto universe. Critical thinking. I know you're about as shocked as I am. After 3 years of thinking that Boruto murdered Naruto, the man has finally begun to connect the dots, which honestly is very impressive because those dots were basically neon signs. One kid has blonde hair and a blue eye, and he shouts Dadabasa, and the other one has face tattoos and literal cyborg hardware inside of his body. But listen, memory rewriting god powers, they're one hell of a drug. And just when Konohamaru finally begins to start piecing everything together, realizing that something's off, and becomes willing to accept that his memories might have been altered like Sarada had been arguing through the time skip, it might just be a little too late. But this is where things get spicy. Better late than never basically applies here, because Konohamaru now has a shot at real redemption as Boruto sensei, as Naruto's proxy brother figure, and as the heir to the Sarutobi name. Konohamaru's mental and emotional awakening is something that we have to talk about, as well as why his newfound clarity probably won't magically fix Boruto's situation, but this is a chance for him to redeem 3 years of failure, and this could turn him into the stealth MVP of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. And yes, don't worry, we'll get in some Konohamaru jokes, because why not? Apparently I've gone too long without making Konohamaru jokes, so we gotta slip them in here. So join me in today's newest Naruto Explained video, where your OBC, your original Boruto chief, proves that those Konohamaru stocks, they are on the biggest comeback since Naruto, beating the low IQ allegations he faced earlier on in the series. Also, if you haven't, don't forget to check out and subscribe to my other 2 anime channels, Anime Explained, where I discuss other anime and manga besides Naruto and Boruto, and Everything One Piece Explained, where I only talk about One Piece and I blindly react to every One Piece chapter from chapter 1 up to the current chapter as someone who's never been spoiled. Both will be linked in the description box for those of you guys who are curious. So we first got to start with Konohamaru's emotional breakthrough. Boruto 2 Blue Vortex chapter 27 gave us something that we hadn't seen from Konohamaru in a long time: actual character depth. He's sitting in that interrogation room with Kobu. He's walking us through his emotional journey from hatred to suspicion to responsibility and to the uncomfortable truth, realization. And he openly admits, Konohamaru says he believed that Boruto murdered Naruto at one point. He believed that Boruto was an enemy. He viewed him as an enemy. He handcuffed him because he thought he was an enemy. He oversaw the interrogation personally, but there was guilt and confusion that was slowly eating him alive. And this is huge. Konohamaru didn't just follow orders here. He internalized the lie. He lived the lie. He suffered under it. And that's exactly why this turnaround matters. He's realized that something has happened in his brain that is skewing his perception of reality itself. He wasn't on the sidelines. He was emotionally invested in Boruto being guilty, because most people would believe their memory. Most people would believe their lived experience. And yet, something inside of him is starting to feel like something is wrong. It's that classic Sarutobi intuition. It's the same spark that made Hiruzen occasionally look at Danzo and go, "You sussy baka." It's the same instinct that made Asuma walk that tight line between duty and conscience, and that same instinct failed Asuma when it was time to dodge child support payments when Hidan killed him. And it's that same fire that Naruto awakened inside of Konohamaru as a child when he told him being Hokage isn't something that Konohamaru would get just by being the grandson of the 3rd Hokage. Konohamaru wasn't waking up because someone lectured him. He was waking up because his heart won't let the lie sit peacefully. Is it too late? Yes, it's way too late, but it's real. And again, it's better late than never. And this brings me to the too late reality check that we have to look at. So let's rip this band-aid off here. Konohamaru figuring this out does not instantly fix Boruto's situation. As I've been saying for the last 2 years since Omnipotence was a thing, those of you who want Boruto's life to magically be fixed overnight, it's not happening. He's gonna suffer. He's gonna suffer for a few more years in real life. you might as well prepare yourself for it. This is good conflict that we're getting. Boruto is branded a traitor globally. He is targeted by Konoha. He is targeted by the other ninja villages. He is being pursued by Kawaki. They have a truce right now, but Kawaki's made it known. Once Jura's dead, I'm killing you next. He is locked in a war with Jura in the Shinju. He is also carrying the Momoshiki burden. He is forced into exile. And you have Konohamaru now admitting internally, with so many words not being said, hey, maybe I was wrong. It doesn't magically rewind the last 3 years of chaos. This is not going to bring Naruto back to the village. It's not going to restore Boruto's reputation. It's not going to undo all the emotional damage that these characters have undergone. It's not going to undo Sarada's isolation and the suffering that she went through, to the point that her Hokage dream was put on life support because she was trying to convince people Boruto was innocent. It's not going to rewind back to the moment in Boruto Naruto Next Generations where Konohamaru failed his student at his most vulnerable, because he got there too late, as did Sasuke, and it resulted in Boruto getting a cut over his eye that has remained shut ever since. Konohamaru's realization, it helps emotionally, but strategically, it doesn't change anything yet. And when you have Kobu calling him a fool, it's harsh, it's funny, but at the same time, let's be honest, Konohamaru did spend 3 years being blind to things that would make even Sai's most non-existent facial expressions look totally judgmental. Thankfully, Omnipotence, it was doing its job, because if this were anything other than that, and Konohamaru could not connect the dots, yeah, we'd have to run an IQ test immediately for public safety. We might even have to do a dementia test. Konohamaru might have taken one too many Rasengans to the face. Now, you might be asking why better late than never is something that we should celebrate. Well, this realization doesn't change Boruto's circumstances. So why does it matter? Well, it's pretty simple. Because Konohamaru now has a chance to do a thing that he failed to do when Omnipotence hit. He has a chance to stand beside his student. He has a chance to protect Boruto. He has a chance to act like a proper sensei to him. Let's take a trip back to Boruto Naruto Next Generations in chapter 78. When Kawaki attacked Boruto in the original timeline, Konohamaru arrived a little too late. He found Boruto bleeding out. He was powerless to stop him. He couldn't defend Boruto then. He rushed alongside Sasuke to hunt down Kawaki, but then Omnipotence happened. And for the last 3 years, he did the opposite. Instead of protecting Boruto, he condemned him again. His memory was swapped. Now, Konohamaru, he has clarity about the situation. He has guilt. It's implied he's figured out that Boruto is Naruto's real son. This means that he has motivation. This isn't just about believing Boruto. This is Konohamaru's opportunity to fulfill the duty he failed, protect his student, even against the village itself, if it's necessary. And this is a very powerful storytelling symmetry that we're looking at. And this is because of Sarada's shadow and Konohamaru's shame. This is obviously symbolic. Gotta state that and make that abundantly clear, because for whatever reason, people will take stuff out of context. So let's not sugarcoat it. Konohamaru has to live with the fact that Sarada, a teenager, spent 3 years defending Boruto alone, just her and Sumire. 3 years knowing the truth. 3 years being ignored, doubted, isolated, written off as emotional, written off as being traitors. And Konohamaru, he didn't believe his student Sarada. There is shame in that, especially when you consider Japanese culture. Sarada showed Hokage level resolve when Konohamaru, somebody who should be showing that at the age of 31, Konohamaru, somebody who wants to be a leader of ninjas, could not do the very thing that ninja are supposed to do, see past deception. Though to be fair, again, omnipotence that makes you overlook things that should otherwise bother you. When this dust is settled and Konohamaru gets his next conversation with Sarada, he's going to realize she was the Naruto in the situation. And Konohamaru, he was the person that Naruto used to prove wrong. Go back to how Naruto consistently stood up for Sasuke. That's going to sting, but guilt can be used as fuel. And this brings me to Shikamaru's recognition of where Konohamaru is currently. because it may not seem like much to you, but for Konohamaru's character arc, getting this confirmation and getting that conversation with Shikamaru, it's going to do so much for Konohamaru's character in the grand scheme of things. The moment that Shikamaru contacts Konohamaru, he basically says, you already know why. That's master tier writing. Not everything has to be spoon-fed. Again, I compare a lot of what Ikimoto does in Boruto to what Togashi's wife, and Tite Kubo did with their manga, which is indirect storytelling. Not everything spoon-fed. You have to understand what you're reading and read between the lines. Oda is also another great example of somebody that does that. Shikamaru implicitly acknowledges Konohamaru might have figured it out on his own. He reached the same conclusion that Shikamaru eventually reached. That means he's no longer a pawn. Instead, he is now aligned with the truth. This is Shikamaru's way of saying, welcome back to the side with working brain cells. I've been where you've been at, and I know what you're going through. Don't feel too bad, dude. Konohamaru, he doesn't need convincing now. Konohamaru has clarity, and Shikamaru, he respects that, which means that Konohamaru is now part of a real mission. Protect Boruto, restore the truth, and eventually save Naruto, which that brings me to the most important part of this video, which is the Naruto factor. Because even though part one of the story was the story of father and son, that was a Naruto and Boruto story, despite the fact that Naruto is sealed away, Naruto's presence, or rather his literal lack of presence in the story, it still pushes the narrative forward in so many different ways. That is why if you read any comments or if you see any people saying different things in videos, or you stumble across the brain rot that exists on TikTok and Reddit that say that this is a disrespect to Naruto, the fact that this character is still so important to this world, his presence being gone has led to so much of a downfall. It's a testament to what Naruto Uzumaki as a character was able to accomplish, and the story setting up a way for Naruto's lack of presence to serve as character development for Konohamaru. But again, not everything's spoon-fed. That's why you'll hear me say Boruto in a lot of cases serves as a litmus test for who has reading comprehension and who doesn't. I don't say that to be condescending. I'm just making an observation because I see a lot of people being misled by people that do not understand Naruto as much as they think they do, screaming everything is a plot hole when it isn't. And there are a lot of fans who keep up with Boruto who are stuck in Naruto Shippuden. Merchandise coming soon. When you really think about it, Konohamaru's entire identity is mostly tied around Naruto. And let me be clear, I'm not saying that Naruto is the entire anchor for Konohamaru's character arc, but I am saying he is a very big key ingredient to Konohamaru from the manga perspective. I don't give a fuck what you saw in the anime, because a lot of stuff you saw in the Naruto and Naruto Shippuden anime did not happen in the manga. And Kishimoto, outside of a few arcs, was not heavily involved in a lot of stuff you saw in the anime. Early Naruto, yes. A lot of stuff that happens in Naruto Part 1 and in Naruto Shippuden, absolutely no. Naruto inspired him as a kid. Naruto taught him what a ninja should be. Naruto is practically his older brother. Naruto made Konohamaru the sensei to Naruto and Sasuke's children. So imagine carrying 3 years of guilt, rage, and grief, believing that Boruto killed someone like Naruto. He's eventually going to learn that Naruto is alive. That relief is going to be massive. But that anger, now that's going to be potentially nuclear. And that hate that he wrongfully directed at Boruto, you better believe that might turn around on Kawaki. And that is dangerous. Not because Kawaki could kill Konohamaru without trying, but because Kawaki is unstable. He is powerful and he is a consequentialist, which means he is willing to raise threats if he needs to. And that leads me to the Sarutobi clan legacy that Konohamaru is going to be carrying out. And this is both the Sarutobi clan in universe as well as a famous Sarutobi in Japanese history. Konohamaru is the grandson of Hiruzen Sarutobi. Hiruzen's namesake comes from the legendary Japanese ninja Sarutobi Sasuke, known in stories for his deception, his stealth, his unmatched loyalty to his clan and his lord, his using brain over brute force, surviving impossible odds through wit, moving with so much skill he was compared to a monkey. This is poetic. Konohamaru now has a chance to embrace that legacy, become a Sarutobi in spirit, not just in name. So you might ask, wait, what does that mean? Well, it means he hides the truth. It means he plays along. It means he watches Kawaki. It means he pretends to obey the system while sabotaging it from within in order to help Boruto. Kawaki would see loyalty, but Shikamaru, he sees Konohamaru being useful. Boruto sees Konohamaru helping him regain redemption. We as the audience, we get to see growth. And that is how Konohamaru Sarutobi wins. Not by punching harder. Nobody's gonna believe you if you said that Konohamaru punches hard enough to do much of anything of use. But by outthinking and outmaneuvering the threat, this is how Konohamaru honors Naruto's faith, his own shame, his student-teacher bond with Boruto, the Sarutobi legacy, which uncomfortable conversations need to be had about whether or not Konohamaru surpassed a certain fan favorite Sarutobi. Yes, I'm going there. And also the shinobi way he inherited by Naruto. He becomes what he needs to be, a quiet protector, a spy, a hidden leaf in a village of the hidden leaves. Like that, don't you? That's pretty poetic right there. A hidden leaf inside a village of hidden leaves. Konohamaru's redemption arc. This is something we have to look at because redemption, again, it doesn't erase mistakes. Konohamaru is in a situation where facing them and acting anyway allows him to help Boruto secretly, feed intel to Shikamaru, stand alongside Sarada, run interference on Kawaki, rebuild the lost honor that he lost in himself, and stand where he failed to do so before. He doesn't need to save the world. He just needs to do his job, believe in his student, and fight for him. And this is the Konohamaru that fans have waited for. And it is here at last. Konohamaru waking up now doesn't undo the pain. It doesn't undo the exile. It doesn't magically fix Boruto's name. But it does something far more important. It gives Boruto back something he lost. A teacher, a protector, a brother in arms. And it gives Konohamaru one final shot to live up to his legacy before Konohamaru joins Ankh status. He is the grandson of the third Hokage. He is the pupil of Naruto. He is the sensei of the boy who surpassed all of them. Better late than never? Yes, because now Konohamaru can finally be what he was meant to be. Boruto Uzumaki's shield and the Sarutobi who stands up when it matters the most. Obviously, if you love this breakdown, smash the like button, comment your thoughts down below, subscribe for more Boruto deep dive analysis, and someone please check on Konohamaru's IQ level now that Omnipotence is fading. Just make sure that this isn't a permanent debuff.